So I've been working across this last row here in the Elmore double crochet and working this with my right hand, and this is the last row of the 11 row repeat in my main color. So down here you can see where I did a contrasting color, and here is row 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 of my main color. So now I need to, I'm coming to the very end here. I've only got 2 more stitches to work, and I am going to need to attach my contrasting color to do the next row, which is row 12 of the repeat. So I'm just going to finish up these 2 stitches. I went ahead and cut my yarn, and I've got about maybe 14 inches there. You need enough yarn to be able to work those last couple of stitches, and then also enough to have at least a 6-inch tail to be able to weave in. Okay, so second to the last stitch, let's go ahead and work it. And very last stitch, we're going to be working into this chain 3, the very top chain. So chain 1, chain 2, and chain 3. We want to get under the 2 top loops of the chain 3. So yarn over and get the hook inserted under the 2 top loops. Yarn over and pull up a loop. Now we're going to work this until we only have 2 loops left on the hook, and when we get ready to do our very last yarn over, then we're going to add that green color. So yarn over and pull through to make your chain 1, yarn over and pull through 2, and here we are. We're at the very end, and that's perfect. See how I've got about maybe 6 or 7 inches left there. So I need to do one last yarn over to complete this stitch. I'm going to grab my new contrasting color ball of yarn, and I'm going to take the tail end and put it behind my hook, and I want to leave at least 6 inches of that tail, again, to weave that in when we go back through and weave in all these tail ends for the blanket. So your working yarn is up in the front. Here's my little ball of working yarn. Working yarn is up in front, the tail is in the back. And go ahead and get a hold of, well, actually, you can, if you need to anchor things down a little, you can get a hold of this tail here in the main color if you feel like your stitches are getting loose. I feel pretty good, so I'm just going to go ahead and slide that new color of yarn right through those last 2 loops, and just snug it up a little bit by just kind of pulling on your tail end of your main color. Okay, and we are now connected up to our new color. And so this next row, we are going to switch. We've been working the last row with our right hand, so we're going to switch now and work with our left hand. So I'm just going to slide out my hook very carefully because I don't want to twist that stitch. I'm just going to slide it right out and flip my hook, and now I'm going to put my point of the hook in so it's aiming toward my right side. And we're going to now crochet with our left hand, going all the way across toward our right direction. Okay, so getting a hold of my yarn over here, I'm just going to snug that up by just kind of pulling on that new color, and just the contrasting color, and just snugging that loop up to my hook. You can just drop those other 2 tail ends toward the back. And we're going to make our first stitch on this row by making a chain 3, and I'm just going to lace this yarn through my right hand, and begin working with my left hand. So yarn over and pull through the loop to make chain 1. Yarn over, pull through to make chain 2. Yarn over and pull through to make chain 3. So that is our very first stitch of this row. Now for the next stitch, we're going to skip that chain 3 because that is our first stitch. And because that is our first stitch of the row and we're including this as a stitch, we are not going to work into that very first 2 top loops of the Elmore double crochet from the row below there. So that very first 2 top loops, we're going to skip that and we're going to go right to the second 2 top loops. So just yarn over and put it right through those 2 top loops and yarn over and pull up a loop. Yarn over and pull through 1 to make your chain 1. Yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Yarn over and pull through your last 2 loops. Okay, so you've got your first stitch of this row and your second stitch of this row, and you're just going to work across, all the way across with your left hand. So to show you the back side here, here is your tail ends just kind of hanging out here, and these are fine. You can actually weave these in now if you want to. Some people like to keep up with it as they're crocheting. I'm kind of one of those people that just kind of does it at the very end of my project. I just do all of my weaving and my tails all at one time. So these are fine. You can just let them hang out and you'll just continue across your work, working in your contrasting color. And when we get to the end of the row, I will do another video to show you how to change your yarn back over to your main color